And welcome to another edition of Blow Your Mind Learning with Lyle Dilly. And welcome to another edition of Blow Your Mind with Lyle Dilly, where we're going to look into actually sharing Adobe Illustrator files with the world. To not just share it as a PDF or an image, but actually share the Adobe Illustrator file with all the fonts and the links and the images that you've been using as well. All right. Let me really quick show you what most people do now, and then let me show you the new way, the new Adobe CC way that they've been doing it, which is to actually export them or publish it, getting ready for other people to use the file. All right, pretty exciting stuff. Let's get right into it. All right. So here we are in Adobe Illustrator, and the way normally people do it is that we go ahead and create a new file. All right, I'm going to make this just a simple 8.5 by 11. All right. Once I create the file, I'm going to go ahead and put some stuff into it. So first, I'm just going to put in a test title. All right. But one thing about this is that with the test title, we'll give it an interesting font. All right. I say that we give it, what kind of interesting fonts can we do? Minecrafters, NASDAQs, stuff maybe not necessarily everybody uses, like Raccoon or Raise. Let's go ahead and do this just for fun. Okay. So we have this, and you know that this is a file, and when you send it to somebody, you know that in order for them to open up the Adobe Illustrator file, they will need this exact same font in order to play with it, right? So one of the ways that you could do it is just make sure that you have the font set to the side, and when you're sending this Adobe Illustrator file, you send it. But there are easy ways to do that. But it doesn't just include fonts. It's also images. So when I placed images inside here, so if I go here, go to my perfect clip art, and maybe just do an image, place the image inside, we can go ahead and have a really cool image that we could do. Okay? If you notice, it's got the X in it. That X, of course, means that it's a link. All right, with that being a link, we should be able to look in our link sub thing, and here it is, the JPEG, showing that it's a link, says that it's a link. But a lot of times, if I try to send this AI file, this Adobe Illustrator file, and I don't actually include this JPEG, then of course the person you're sending the AI file won't have access to the image to play with. Okay, you can embed it, but that does increase the size of the file. Here we're not learning to embed. Of course, I could try to embed it by actually pressing the button up here because I have it linked, and there's a little embed button. If I actually press the embed button, you notice that the cool little link thing is gone. That means it's actually embedded. But I'm going to go ahead and Control Z, make it back into an embedded file, and we'll keep going. Now, not only can you do this, but you can also do really cool EPSs as links too. EPS, as you know, is very simplified versions of Adobe Illustrator files. It's very common to use with logos and stuff, so you can use it with multiple types. Here I've got a background, okay, that I can use as this file. So no matter how big or small that I make it, it'll always be the same size because it's a EPS file. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, go to there, arrange it, send it to the back so I can see everything that's on top of it. Pretty cool. Ooh, why don't we make this white so it's easier to see on top of it? Love it, love it, love it. Maybe even put it on the bottom where it's a little darker in the file. Looking kind of interesting. If I click the link again, you'll also see that the two files are there, JPEG and EPS. So now we've got three things. We have the JPEG, we have the EPS, and we want to make sure that that's also sent to the person that you're sending the AI file, because if you embed this, you're increasing file size, but you can also save a lot of space and cite a lot of things by keeping this the same. So if you send this to somebody, you need to make sure, right, that that you're actually keeping this available for them. So in this folder that you see, I have the blue light This is the JPEG. Here's the EPS. And here's that creative website image that I have, right? So I could put those into a folder plus this Adobe Illustrator file, and I can save it. All right. Well, let me save this Illustrator file that we're making right now. I'm going to go ahead and save it, right? So File, Save As. All right. This is not save as a copy because it's the first time I'm doing it. I'm going to go ahead and put this in my Blow Your Mind Learning folder. All right. And this is going to be the test title letter. Okay. Because it's 8.5 by 11 letter size. All right. So I'm going to save it. So if I'm going to send this now to somebody, all right, after I save it, remember, always save it as a lower version if you're sending it to somebody. But most people have an Illustrator CC for Creative Cloud, and that's going to open in any Illustrator CC, whether it's 2014, 2015, or 2017. It'll still be able to open it. That's why there's only one version of this. So I say OK. All right. Now, if I also save it, I know that I could go ahead and take this, and I could go under Type, and I could create an outline. If I create an outline and send this, then it's fine. The person I'm sending it to won't need the actual font, because that means that it's technically embedded because it's outlined. But I don't want to outline it. I want the person I'm sending this to also make changes to the text. Okay? So, in order to do that, what do I got to do? I got to have fonts. I got to have the links. I got to have the EPS links, the JPEG links, the fonts. Boy, this is a lot that we're trying to deal with, right? And if you have really good organization, you can go ahead and you'll have this all set aside, and this should be easy to send. Okay? A lot of times, though, when I send it in a zip file. All right? But here we're going to say a really easy way that the new Adobe CC can go ahead and send it. I believe this is Adobe CC 2015. I know 2017 absolutely has. Let me show you the new button. If anybody's familiar with InDesign, you'll be familiar with this button. They added to Illustrator. Pretty exciting stuff. So if I go to File up here, and I go to Package, Alt-Shift-Control-P, it's going to open a cool dialog box. This dialog box here, okay, will put everything to a folder. It's going to tell me what folder and location, and look at these really cool buttons here, okay? Some of the cool buttons are copy links. Hey, all those links. Copy links into a separate folder, always recommended. Relink files to document, absolutely. So as soon as you open it, it's going to relink the files to the document. And copy the fonts. That's the most exciting button right there. You see that? Copy fonts used in documents. All right. Now, there are some exceptions, but let me tell you, 95% of the time, this is going to work for you. Use this. Okay. Also, to create a report. Create a report basically is to establish maybe some rules you have with the customer. A lot of times you won't need it, but I'm going to go ahead and click on here so we can see it while we're exporting. I'm going to make sure that I have it in the right folder. Okay. So I want it to be in my Creative Cloud folder, in your Blow Your Mind, and I'm going to have it in here. Select the folder. It's now in my Blow Your Mind Learning folder. The folder title is test title letter _ folder. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Easy to identify. And I'm going to go ahead and press package. It's going to say, hey, don't forget, font copyright. It's absolutely a great point. We want to make sure that we're using the right fonts that we're sending to everybody, and that we do have rights to send these off. If we do, go ahead and press OK. Now, oh, God, it doesn't give me any indicators. What am I going to do now? Oh, let me go ahead. Oh, look, it is an indicator. Haha. Last time it didn't show an indicator. This must be an update. Ah, awesome, awesome. So now I have a button that says Show Package. All right, Show Package is basically going to open up this folder for me. Here it is. All right, it's in a folder, test type _ folder. Here's all my fonts. Boom. Look at that. The font is in there for people to install. So if I had this, I could go ahead and double click on it. There's the actual font. Install it. Boom. I'm good to go. Also, if you look on here, I have those links, both the EPS link and the actual image, so that I can link onto that too. We have a report. The report basically gives some basic information. What's the sizes, what color it's using, what is the what kind of, if there's spot colors, all sorts of interesting information. Okay, what kind of fonts, what kind of embedded fonts are in it, all sorts of good information that you're going to be able to use, even where the last place that it was created. Okay, so if I'm happy with this, this is an actual, keep in mind, very, very important to note, this is a copy of what I just had. So here is my original, saved in the original spot. This is a copy of it. So what you're looking at right here is a copy of it, not the original. Very important. If I open this and edit it, I'm actually editing a new file. So it's very, very important. But this is making to a really easy thing for me to do. I can now right-click this, especially if I'm in Windows. And then a lot of times you can send to. You don't see it over there, but let me make so you can see it. Right-click it, send to zip folder. Okay. So I've got my zip folder right here. Zip folder. All right. Once I got that zip folder, it's going to go, are you sure? Yep. And look. Right down here is a zip folder. All right. Depending on the size and everything else, this is right now, you don't see it. Let me make it so you can see it. That folder is 27.4 megabytes large. Okay, 24.7 megabytes large. Little larger size, but a lot of times these days you put that on a zip folder. You can upload it to some of your servers, Dropboxes, Google Drives, all sorts of stuff. Send it to the person to do. They open up that zip file. It has everything they need to edit it. All right. All their fonts, all the images that you've linked to it, everything you need so that you can go ahead and share it with other designers, other printers, whoever needs these files in order for them to make the necessary changes. Maybe it's a printer who needs changes of colors. Maybe you're sending it to another designer so they can also edit it and mess with it. All right. It's a great feature. I always suggest you use the heck out of this feature. I appreciate you listening. Go ahead, if you like what I'm teaching, you want me to show you more, go ahead and subscribe to Blow Your Mind Learning with Lyle Dilly, and I'll continue to make more of these great lessons so that you can learn more about Adobe products. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks again for listening. Boom.